I believe children understand when things don't go to plan. After all, things don't always go like clockwork. It's nobody's fault, and certainly not theirs. So I think you should apologise and explain if you're late. But at the same time, I wish they'd grow up a bit, and take more responsibility for their own behaviour. After all, they only had to wait a few minutes. I think it's always important to explain when things are not acceptable. I feel disappointed when they let me down and other teachers have to intervene. Shows they can't be trusted.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
Been waiting for ages.
Never mind. You're in, all right, miss?
Thank you, Jason. And once again, quiet, please, everyone. And once again, I'm sorry I'm so late. The thing is, I was just about to leave the staff room when the head phoned. He wanted to ask me about the...
You weren't getting told off, were you, miss?
Oh, no, Michael, of course not. Now, come on, everyone, quickly and quietly. Line up nicely, please.
Oh, get off.
Michael, why is it always you?
Always me what, miss?
Who lets the whole class down? Everyone else manages to stand quietly, but you always have to be talking or bashing about, making a nuisance of yourself.
I wasn't, miss.
Yes, you were. Everyone else understands what to do when the teacher is unavoidably detained. Everyone else manages to behave properly.
I was just doing the same as everyone else, waiting for you. Why are you picking on me?
Don't be silly. Of course I'm not picking on you. Quiet, the rest of you. I'm sorry you all have to suffer because of one rather selfish boy.
Will you lot shut up? Oh, you're here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to talk to the head. We'll be out of your way in a minute. Right, come along.
I've had to tell you once already. Just get in the classroom and listen to your teacher.
Can we go in now, please, miss? Yeah, can we? We're getting bored standing round out here.
Of course, yes. You've missed quite enough of your lesson already. The kids were so lovely about me being late and seemed to care that I wasn't in trouble. They're nice kids. I'm upset that Michael thought I was picking on him. I never would pick on children. I am worried, though, about dealing with some of the more aggressive children. I was so embarrassed when Mrs. Sinclair came out of her room. It's so humiliating. It wasn't my fault that I was late and that Michael was misbehaving. I must explain and apologise to her.
Before Kath arrived, pupils were lined up on either side of the corridor, talking together. There was a friendly and positive atmosphere. This class seemed to get on well together. As she came round the corner, carrying her huge box, pupils moved off the wall and turned to her, ready to listen to what she had to say. When Jason said, "You're here now, miss," he seemed to be signalling to Kath that she should get the lesson started. Instead, Kath apologised twice and then responded to people's questions. This included an unnecessary and lengthy explanation to those at the front of the queue. Kath seemed embarrassed by Mike's joke, asking her if she'd been getting told off. The instructions Kath gave the class were unclear. The first time she asked the pupils behind her to be quiet, it was in the middle of a sentence that she was saying to pupils in front of her. Later, Kath asked pupils to line up nicely. It was not clear exactly what she wanted pupils to do, as they seemed to be lining up in a fairly reasonable fashion, certainly well enough to go into the classroom. As it was, the instruction just resulted in Mike and some other pupils clowning about. The clowning triggered a further exchange with pupils. Kath chose to admonish Mike, even though several pupils were involved. Rather than establishing clearer expectations, Kath initiated a debate with Mike.
When the teacher is unavoidably detained, everyone else manages to behave.
Mike answered the question by defending himself.
Same as everyone else, waiting for you. Why are you picking on me?
Don't be silly. Of course I'm not picking on you.
During the dialogue with Mike, Kath lost the attention of the rest of the class. Mike felt he had been unfairly treated and accused Kath of picking on him. Kath appeared flustered, then escaped from the situation by turning to speak to the class, blaming Mike for the delay to the start of the lesson. The rising noise level prompted Alison to come out of the classroom. Kath appeared embarrassed by Alison's intervention, and instead of apologising briefly and getting pupils into the classroom as quickly as possible, she launched into further explanations. When Kath turned to the class, Alison continued to chastise them, and by implication Kath too. It was the pupils seeking permission to go into the classroom that prompted Kath into action. The class eventually entered the classroom quite some time after the bell. Despite her apologies, Kath didn't use any inclusive language. She said you've missed enough of your lesson already, which didn't include herself as one of those responsible for the late start to the lesson. This lesson did not get off to a purposeful start.
It is important that staff maintain a professional approach and control their feelings so that situations like this do not impact on professional demeanour and relationships with pupils. Kath was flustered because my phone call made her late for her lesson. This caused her to lose focus by apologising to the class.
And once again, I'm sorry I'm so late. The thing is, I was just about to leave the staff room when the head phoned. He wanted to ask me about the...
You weren't getting told off, were you, miss?
Oh, no, Michael, of course not. Now, come on, everyone.
Her apology was ineffective and drawn out because she responded to the inappropriate questions pupils asked. She could have just said, 8PT, I'm sorry I'm late, and moved on. But she lost that opportunity. The effect of this was to delay the start of the lesson. Having previously been ready to go into the classroom, pupils were now distracted by their banter with Kath.
I was just doing the same as everyone else, waiting for you. Why are you picking on me?
Don't be silly. Of course I'm not picking on you. Quiet, the rest of you.
The rising noise level prompted Alison to intervene.
Will you not shut up? Oh, you're here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to talk to the head. We'll be out of your way in a minute. Right, come along.
I've had to tell you once already. Just get in the classroom and listen to your teacher.
In this school, we encourage colleagues to support each other. But in this case, the effect of Alison's intervention was to embarrass and crush Kath in front of her class. 8PT also found the situation difficult. And some pupils empathised with Kath and tried to rescue her by encouraging her to move them into the classroom.
Can we go in now, please, miss? Yeah, can we? We're getting bored standing round out here.
Of course.
Actually, Kath didn't need to be so concerned about how her class were waiting in the corridor. They were just about ready to go into the lesson when she arrived. We must encourage her to be more decisive in her interactions with pupils. I don't want this teacher to lose her confidence.
I was talking to Kath in the staff room about support for NQTs and those who, like her, are in their early years of teaching. About 15% of teaching staff enjoying a school this year. A common concern for new teachers is the way they feel they get drawn into responding to pupils' random questions and comments, which distracts everyone from teaching and learning. This is a particular problem for Kath. She needs to develop a more professional stance. She's genuinely fond of the young people she teaches and wants to build positive relationships with them. She wants pupils to like her, but her approach to them is sometimes confused. For example, she sometimes engages them in conversation when she should be giving them instructions. Situations like the one in the corridor can develop as a consequence of these mixed messages. Because of her inexperience, Kath might find an apology script useful in helping her to stick to the point.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
I've been waiting for ages.
Never mind. You're in, all right, miss?
Thank you, Jason. And once again, quiet, please, everyone. And once again, I'm sorry I'm so late. The thing is, I was just about to leave the staff room when the head phoned. He wanted to ask me about the...
You weren't getting told off, were you, miss?
Oh, no, Michael, of course not.
For example, she could say, 8PT, sorry to keep you waiting. Alice, off you go inside. This is effective and succinct. 8PT, followed quickly by the apology and the next instruction. She could develop other such scripts to use in different contexts. Scripts by themselves will not be effective, though, unless there is congruence between Kath's words and her body language. She needs to develop her presence, particularly when addressing the class, standing still, facing pupils, scanning their faces and making eye contact before she speaks. It would help if she could carry less to the lesson. Her box hampers the range of movements that she can make. Kath needs to think about the way she gives instructions. For example, she turned round in the middle of a sentence to ask pupils behind her to be quiet.
Jason, and once again, quiet, please, everyone. And once again, I'm sorry I'm so late.
A different word order could have made her instructions more authoritative. Quiet, please, everyone, would become 8PT, I need you to be quiet. thanks. By saying thanks rather than please, Kath can indicate that she expects pupils to comply.